Hello everyone, my name is Hadley Handel and I will be reporting my final project of the global COVID-19 pandemic and the data that we were supposed to do our analysis over. So as you can see on this first page here, we have the global COVID-19 tracker where you are able to go look at the different continents and the different countries that have been affected by the global pandemic that we are currently dealing with and handling all over the world. As you can see here, that you can filter up here at the top the positive cases and deaths, and then you can go over here to the cumulative or the new cases. You can see here on the left side for the interactive graph that we have, the new positive cases, the declination of the previous day, and then the previous day number of cases as compared to the current day. And this is just when they were released, and this is not up to date 100% of the COVID cases. As you can see here, we have the new number of deaths, what are at 4,508, and then you have the declination down here as well of the cases of the previous day and the percentage and the rate that is going at. With this interactive map, you can hover over each of the individual countries, see what their number of deaths is, the current deaths, and the positive and new cases for COVID-19. And I decided I wanted to further look into the continents as a whole. And as you can see, I created a bar chart here. On the left side, we have the current day cumulative or new positive cases. And then here on the right side, we have the total or new positive cases. America, North America, and South America are leading in the number of cases, for they are in the 10 millions, almost 10.8 million. Then we have Asia coming both for new coming up at second for the current day and cumulative and the total number of new positive cases. Thirdly, we have Europe coming in with 3 million cases of the new and total positive cases. We have Africa in fourth with 1,048,821 cases, and we have Oceania coming in fifth with 22,629 cases. I wanted to further my research on the countries as a whole, and I did this map chart to signify the severity of the COVID cases per country. So as you can see, the yellow here, if you hover over the country, it has the continent name, the country name, the people death count, so how many people have died up to the data, up to the date of the data, and then we have the people positive cases count per country if you hover over. If you see that the yellow colored countries are the countries that have the less severe cases, and then as we get into darker orange, we have a deeper orange, and we have a dark burnt orange, which means the moderate to severe cases, and then we have the red countries, which means that these cases are by far the worst number of the severest cases of COVID, current and deaths. So here you can go over to the bar chart that I have created. I created this to better look at the states as a whole because we live in the United States, and I wanted to further my knowledge of the cases in the US based on the current day of the new positive cases. And so here you can hover over the bar, and if you click on it, it will highlight that bar that you clicked on specifically, and you have the the state down there at the bottom. And I did that just because it was easy on the eyes, and you were able to look at that and say, oh, well, California is the leading number of cases. Then you can go over and compare to Texas and Florida, Georgia, so on and so forth. And so if you go over to the next page here, we have the United States COVID-19 tracker. If you look to the left, the same as the by continents COVID tracker, we have the new positive cases here, and we have the number, we have the rate of which they are increasing or decreasing. and we have the number of deaths. This is for Kentucky specifically, so you can hover over and look at the state of Kentucky. The blue dots signify the most number of cases, and the bigger the dot, the more number of cases. And then you can look over here on the legend as well, and it has the counties of Kentucky and the number of cases that they have, and the severity of the cases as well. So if you want to look at this, the United States as a whole, you have the new positive cases, the rates again here on the left, and you are able to look at the United States as a whole by hovering over each of the individual states and getting their record of deaths and positive cases. Again, I wanted to look similar to what we did with the continents. I wanted to look at the severities of the states by color. I figured it would be a lot easier for the viewer to read into the data of each state and looking at the severity of the cases. So as I said before, the yellow states are the states that have not as severe number of cases, more of a mild to moderate. And as we get to the darker orange and to the burnt orange, it is the moderate to severe number of cases. And as we get to the red here, New York is one of the only red states, but it looks like Florida, Texas, and California are emerging into the red, and that is the most severe number and the most number of cases for the states. And then if you go over to the death by states, I created this chart to better look at the deaths by state. And if you look here on the left side, it has the current day cumulative deaths. And on the right side here, we have the total or new number of deaths. I decided to do this to see which of the positive COVID cases, which of them turned more frequently into deaths. And as you can see here, that we have more deaths, total deaths by New York, but the death rate has gone down immensely. And then here we have a peaking number of current new deaths, but overall deaths have not been too far up for California. And I decided to do a further analysis on the states of Florida and New York, just because I have family in Florida, and Florida is becoming a new hotspot, and New York still is a hotspot since it was from the very beginning of COVID. And I created a trend line graph just so we can better see the trends of the increasing number of cases, the decreasing number of cases, and how that is trending via the by day. So as you can see, that New York and Florida have very similar trends. And if you look over here on the right where the legend is, New York is the red and Florida is the orange. And you are able to hover over the trend line and further signify the day of the report date and the name of the state and the number of positive or negative, the number of positive cases. So as you can see that New York started at 1.5, almost 1.6 million. It increased by the 10th day to 1.7 million. It did a rapid decrease on the 11th day, and that steady increase all the way till the 30th to 1.5 million, and then down on the 31st day to 871,000. Florida followed that trend line that had a lot less number of cases initially from the first report date, but I wanted to dive in deeper and see what their numbers looked like, just because both of these states have been talked about in the media over and over, and these were the two that stuck out the most to me. So Florida followed the same trend. They had 738,325 people test positive, and then they had that steady increase until the 10th day, the rapid decline on the 11th day, and that steady increase of cases up until the 30th day, and that rapid decline on the 31st day. I believe that this happened just because the number of cases decided since the states decided to react differently once the entire shutdown started, and after the 14 days, people got tired of being in quarantine and decided that they wanted to go back to work, and decided that it was time to get the US and the economy going again. So I believe that's why we see such a drastic drop in the number of cases, because we were quarantining ourselves, and these states were doing the same. And then you see that steady increase and that steady incline of number of cases, just because things started to open back up again. More people, we had better testing, they were more accurate, and as we are still seeing, we are still getting new forms of testing each day, and they are people getting tested, and more accurate results are being reported daily. So I wanted to do my analysis on these two states just because they were reported the most about, in my opinion. And that is it for my final project and for the final of the global and national COVID-19 data analysis. I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you all were able to find out a little bit more about the COVID-19 virus and how it is affecting our brothers and sisters across the world. Thank you all, and have a good night.